It seems
That's what Tommy Lee Jones said to me, too. He said he couldn't sanction my buffoonery.
He couldn't?
He couldn't sanction my buffoonery.
What movie?
Hollywood has never lacked for feuds. Creative differences, ego clashes, and combustible personalities have shaped some of the most iconic films ever made. But even in an industry overflowing with drama, few conflicts have earned the same legendary status as the inexplicable, one-sided hostility Tommy Lee Jones harbored for Jim Carrey during the production of Batman Forever in 1995. This was not a mild professional disagreement. It wasn't a clash of philosophies that found eventual resolution. It was pure contempt, instant, visceral, and absolute. Nearly 30 years later, the story continues to follow both men, an unshakable footnote in their careers. "I've been on a lot of difficult sets," said one crew member from the production who insisted on anonymity. "Clashing personalities, big egos, creative battles, you expect some of that. But I've never seen anything like the hatred Tommy Lee Jones had for Jim Carrey. It wasn't just dislike, it was as if Jim's very existence offended him on a cellular level." What makes this animosity so fascinating isn't merely its intensity, but its imbalance. Carrey went into the project a genuine admirer of Jones, eager to work with an Oscar winner he respected. Instead, he encountered a wall of cold, unyielding hostility that culminated in one of Hollywood's most notorious face-to-face confrontations, the infamous restaurant scene where Jones told him, point blank, "I hate you. I really don't like you. I cannot sanction your buffoonery." It's rare for Hollywood's veneer of politeness to crack so completely in public, but this feud did more than crack a veneer, it shattered it, and the pieces have never been picked back up. So what really fueled the legendary hostility of Tommy Lee Jones? What did Jim Carrey represent to him? And why has this particular feud endured long after their brief collaboration ended? To understand that, we have to explore the profound clash of philosophies, generations, and identities that made Batman Forever a battlefield of styles long before the cameras rolled. The clash of acting worlds. Tommy Lee Jones and Jim Carrey were not simply different actors. They were two representatives of opposite philosophies of performance. Jones was the embodiment of classical seriousness, studied, restrained, psychologically precise. A craftsman who built characters piece by piece, he had just won an Academy Award for The Fugitive, cementing his reputation as one of Hollywood's great dramatic talents. Carrey, meanwhile, was a force of nature, a rubber-faced, improvisational whirlwind who redefined 1,990 seconds comedy with Ace Ventura, The Mask, and Dumb and Dumber, all within a single year. His style was fast, anarchic, exaggerated, and massively popular. "They weren't just playing different characters," explained one production assistant. "It was like trying to combine a classical violinist with a punk rock guitarist. They weren't just playing different notes, they were playing different music entirely." The pairing looked brilliant on paper. Two-Face and the Riddler, side by side, would offer two different flavors of villainy. Jones would bring the gravitas, Carrey would bring the chaos. Hollywood loved the contrast. Reality, however, was far less harmonious. From the earliest days of production, the differences became impossible to ignore. Jones approached Two-Face with meticulous psychological preparation, searching for emotional truth even in a comic book world. Carrey approached the Riddler as a playground of improvisation, shape-shifting gestures, and gleeful physicality. Every time Carrey deviated from the script to experiment, a hallmark of his comedic brilliance, Jones reportedly stiffened. "You could see Tommy's jaw clench every time Jim added a flourish or spun off in a new direction," recalled a camera operator. For Tommy, acting was about control. For Jim, it was about explosion. They were chemically incompatible. To make matters worse, Carrey was the higher-paid actor on set. After his meteoric rise, studios were paying him $20 million per film, a figure that would have been inconceivable to actors of Jones's generation. For a serious craftsman who spent decades climbing the ladder of prestige, it was a bitter pill. "There was definitely a sense that the industry was changing," said entertainment reporter Rebecca Santos. Jones came up believing credibility came from craft. Carrey represented an era where commercial power came from physical comedy and mass appeal. Their very presence in the same film embodied a generational divide, and it was only a matter of time before the tension ruptured completely. The restaurant incident, Hollywood's most brutal honesty. The breaking point came away from the cameras, away from the set, away from the artificial structures of Hollywood diplomacy. It came over dinner. Carey encountered Jones at a restaurant popular with the cast and crew during production. Hoping to thaw the ice, Carey approached the table. "I went over and said, 'Hey Tommy, how you doing?'" Carey later recounted on Norm Macdonald Live, "And the blood just drained from his face, like he'd been thinking about me every second since our last scene." Jones stood up, embraced him in a stiff, hollow hug, and then delivered one of the most famous lines in Hollywood feud history. "I hate you. I really don't like you. I cannot sanction your buffoonery." "He hugged me," Carey remembers, "and then he verbally slapped me in the face. It was a startling moment of brutal honesty, honesty so complete that it violated Hollywood's first commandment, pretend to get along, even when you don't." But Jones didn't pretend, not even for a second. The story traveled across Hollywood like wildfire. "What made it so shocking was the total absence of showmanship," said Santos. "This industry survives on fake smiles." Jones delivered the opposite. For Carey, the moment left a lasting mark. Even decades later, when he tells the story with humor, there's a flicker of genuine hurt beneath the laugh. "I admired him," Carey once said quietly. "I thought he'd be fun. He was not." The professional freeze-out. Following the restaurant confrontation, Jones's hostility evolved from emotional to professional. According to several crew members, he began implementing an unspoken strategy: minimize all interactions with Jim Carrey. Jones reportedly refused to rehearse scenes with Carrey present. He would run blocking only with the director, then refuse to engage in any collaborative preparation once Carrey arrived. He'd say his lines cold and walk away, recalled one assistant director. He treated Jim like he wasn't even there. Carrey tried, at first, to bridge the gap, joking, improvising, attempting to lighten the mood. Nothing worked. Eventually, witnesses say, he simply gave up and focused solely on his performance. Their scenes together meant to be charged. Dynamic collaborations became technical exercises. Two villains plotting together, yet behaving like they didn't occupy the same reality. "It wasn't chemistry," said a crew member. "It was coexistence, and barely that." Even director Joel Schumacher, known for nurturing difficult personalities, could not mend the divide. He arranged dinners, private meetings, attempts at bonding. Jones declined all of them. By the time filming ended, the relationship was beyond fractured. It had never formed at all. The aftermath. A feud frozen in time. Most Hollywood feuds fade. Careers intertwine, memories soften, mutual respect grows, or time simply washes over the bitterness. Studios often force cooperation for financial reasons. Publicists massage narratives until grudges become anecdotes. Not this time. Jim Carrey has repeatedly addressed the experience over the years, not with venom, but with a sweetness that makes the rejection more painful. "I don't take it personally," he often says. And yet, behind the words, the sting persists. He has repeatedly tried to extend an olive branch. Jones has never responded. "Jim genuinely wanted to resolve it," said one producer. "It wasn't about being friends. He just doesn't like negativity." But Tommy never opened that door. Jones's silence has become part of the feud's mystique. He has never commented, never denied, never clarified, choosing instead to let his original statement stand unquestioned. "Sometimes, what you don't say defines you more," observed a director who's worked with Jones. His silence became the story. Behind the scenes, the divide had consequences. Casting directors avoided pairing them. Studios quietly understood that the combination was toxic. One project in the early 2000s, a dramatic comedy about estranged brothers, was reportedly abandoned after Jones refused to work with Carrey. In an industry where stars routinely put aside differences for big paychecks, this kind of lasting refusal is exceedingly rare. "This wasn't a feud," said an insider. "It was a verdict. A feud that endures because it never resolved." Today, nearly 3 decades later, the Tommy Lee Jones-Jim Carrey feud remains one of Hollywood's most compelling interpersonal dramas precisely because it ended in silence. Not reconciliation. There were no public apologies, no heartfelt reunions, no revisionist nostalgia. Just one unforgettable sentence. "I cannot sanction your buffoonery." Carrey eventually transformed the experience into a humorous anecdote, a way to reclaim the sting through storytelling. Jones allowed it to become part of the mythos surrounding him. In an industry built on performance, branding, and carefully managed image, the unfiltered honesty of their conflict stands out. It was real, raw, unmediated, and permanent. "They didn't get along," Santos summarized. "That's it. That's the whole story. And the fact that it never changed is what makes it unforgettable." For Jones, it's a reminder that even revered actors have human limits. For Carey, it's a lesson in humility and the unpredictability of admiration. For Hollywood, it remains a rare glimpse into genuine, unvarnished emotion, ugly, uncomfortable, and completely authentic. Some wounds in Hollywood heal. This one never did. And that is why the feud between Tommy Lee Jones and Jim Carrey will forever remain one of the strangest, sharpest, and most enduring chapters in Hollywood history.